I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A pleasure to be able to speak to you both. Maybe you could just kick off with a brief introduction into this amazing new film, Bird Box Barcelona. I know some people might already be familiar with the book or the previous film, or they might be coming to it fresh. What can they expect from this installment? Just goes first.
From this installment, I think they can, if they have seen or read the books, they can see a different perspective, a very interesting perspective. I don't want to do any spoilers, but it's fun. It's an entertaining film.
And what do you think it was about, the premise or the concept that really drew people in? And you watched the film, I guess, way before you even knew that this project would possibly happen. And what was it about the premise for you that was really appealing to get involved with this one?
So like the idea that we have to fight our own fears, like the enemy in the end is us. For me, it's like a very cool metaphor, like for a horror film.
And what can you tell us about each of your characters and how you prepared to play them? Georgina, do you want to go?
My character is Claire. She works in psychiatry and she's on a book tour when this kind of event happens in Barcelona and she gets stuck here. And it has somehow managed to survive. Was there another part of the question? Sorry, was that I'm like...
Oh, yeah. And I guess how you prepared to play her. I mean, did you go back to the book to, rewatch the other film? Or was it all there in the script for you, really?
Yeah, I rewatched the film. I read the book and I read the sequel to the first book. And the script, everything really was in the script. It was such a tight script. It felt like everything was there.
See, I rewatched the movie, but also I tried to do something like completely different. And also it's like the idea of being in an apocalypse. I just try to put myself in that kind of situation, So I didn't want to do something like the first movie.
And the thing that really strikes me when watching it is they've done this incredible hybrid of using kind of practical effects and CGI effects. So everything feels very grounded and gritty and tangible, despite it, obviously, the kind of, supernatural elements to it. What was it like being on these sets? And what might have been some of the highlights and challenges along the way, perhaps some of the scenes that were most difficult?
I was really blown away watching it, seeing the VFX and the CGI and everything. And I knew it was going to be good because I know David and Alex are great at that stuff. And it was very present when we were filming. They were kind of telling us what would be happening, even if, we couldn't see it happening. What was challenging? We were in blindfolds a lot. So that's challenging. It wasn't even just that the stuff isn't there. On top of that, we're also blindfolded, so we can't see anything. So that was definitely a challenge.
And the green screen. So like the idea that most of the film, we weren't like seeing what you see now. So after the edition, it was just like a green screen. So you have to use your imagination all the time. That was kind of cool.
And in terms of kind of what people can take away from watching it, I don't know if it's a sign of our times that there does seem to be a real appetite for these quite kind of post-apocalyptic sort of horror genre films. But, on the side of it, feeling, like this idea of facing your fears. On the flip side, there's also, communities coming together and those moments of kindness that can happen in sort of adverse circumstances. So what do you think people maybe can take away from watching the film?
I don't know, it's like find humanity, like you can't survive alone. So the film is also about like fight your own fears, but like, be surrounded like by more people. So you can't survive alone. So the idea is like gather a community. And I think the film is also about that, but we all die.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, I think it's, especially we've been speaking about COVID a lot today, and, the first film came out during the pandemic and lockdowns, and finding community, finding people. I think everyone has a very deep understanding of loneliness now. So that's something that I think brings people together, is that we all understand what loneliness is. And I think in this film, especially really feel, especially the protagonist, Mario's, his loneliness.
Mm. And I guess something that's really great about what we're seeing with platforms like Netflix is that you have this kind of, range of like multi-language content that goes out globally. In the past, everything used to sort of mainly come from the US, the English language. And there's something amazing about, how you can have these spin-offs in local languages. So is that something really exciting to be involved with? And I guess Georgina being the Brit amongst the Spaniards, but for you, Diego, as well, having a film like this in your language going out around the world.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think I really love that Netflix has kind of brought people to content that they wouldn't usually watch. And you realize that it doesn't really matter what languages it is in. It's about the story, it's about the people and humanity and acting. And you don't need to understand someone's language to follow it. And all I would say is, like, I love watching foreign films with subtitles. So for my fellow Brits out there, I say watch this film with subtitles, because the Spanish actors in this film are giving such beautiful performances. You want to hear it.
Even if you don't understand.
Subtitles, you read it.
Nice.
And does that feel important to you, Diego, to have, content like this coming out globally from Spain?
Yes, of course. And I really like the idea that Netflix sometimes gather like people from all over the world. So in this set, we have like Catalan, German, Spanish, English. That was kind of cool, but hard for her.
Yeah, for me.
Do you know Spanish? How much did you have to learn?
Oh God, come on, don't do this to me.
She
I'm a
knows
Brit.
bocata.
No, I tried. And I feel like when we were filming some tiny little bits here and there, but I mean, it's been like a year more. I don't have any friends that speak Spanish. I haven't been able to practice it much. So no, sadly, I have let the team down there.
Bocata.
Bocata, I know bocata.
And just very briefly, first of all, you, Georgina, I mean, the directors were speaking very fondly about sort of first discovering you in Black Mirror. I remember that episode very well. But you've done so many amazing things since. What have been some of the highlights? I guess also doing films like Barbarian. Maybe this is kind of like a genre you enjoy, and what you might have coming up next.
Yeah, you know what? That Black Mirror episode has helped me out a lot. Every time I get a job now, they're like, we watched the Black Mirror episode. So, thank you, Charlie Brooker, for that. I did Barbarian, which I loved. I thought that was such a fantastic script. I love the horror genre. I really enjoyed doing this as well. I'm sure there's more to come in that genre. I did a film recently called Psycho Killer, film called Cold Storage. There's a few things. I don't know when they're coming out, but I did them.
And for you, Diego, Babylon, I guess that must have been quite a whirlwind experience. What did you take away from that?
From Babylon? Oh, it's
Yeah.
like a new step on my career. Now I can choose, for example. That's new. Yeah. And the idea of acting in English and in a different country. That's pretty cool.
What was the highlight of that experience and working alongside people like
Babylon?
me?
I learned English, literally. That was pretty cool. I actually learned.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that one with me. And I can't wait for everyone else to get stuck into Bird Box Barcelona. Thanks a lot.